Hey everyone. So today we're going to be looking at your spouse's personality through Venus. So we're going to be looking at Venus through different signs and see what type of personality will your spouse have? How will they tend to behave? And more specifically, we're actually going to look at Venus placed in the four different elements. Venus placed in fire signs and water signs, earth signs and air signs, and see how this influences your spouse's personality and how they would tend to behave and think. Right? So that's what's on the agenda today. Please make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. And if you would like to know everything about your spouse, from their appearance and personality, and how much wealth they're going to make, when you can meet them, and potential marriage dates, even your past life connection with your spouse, you could check out the link in the description. Actually, right now, we have a special sale for Diwali. So you could check out the coupon code in the description and in the pinned comment to get a 20% discount off any type of consultation. So yeah, that that is only for a limited time. So yeah, check that out. So back to the technique. We're gonna go through Venus in all four different signs and elements, right? So let's start off with Venus placed in fire signs. So Venus placed in Aries, in Leo, or in Sagittarius here, right? So now I'm talking about the signs and not the houses. I just placed the houses here, but these are qualities that are specific to the signs only. So if you have Venus placed in fire signs, what you'll notice with your spouse's personality is that they're going to be very goal oriented and goal driven. They're going to have like a goal in mind and they're going to work very hard to achieve this. They'll regularly do this as well. They're always going to be setting goals and they're always going to be thinking long term, what is the purpose and what are they working towards? So that's what you'll see with Venus and fire signs here. And actually, this progresses more and more. So Venus and Mars sign, they're going to be focused more on short-term goals. So think about the goals that people make in the gym, right? They think about trying to achieve just a personal best, right? Or trying to achieve something quickly. They'll set like a goal, okay, I'm gonna do like two more, even if they're at their breaking end, this is the short-term goal. So Venus in Aries, they're gonna set short-term goals, and this is what they're gonna focus on. They're gonna focus on the little wins. And you see, it evolves even more when Venus is in Leo. You'll see these people will have a bit long-term goals, and these goals will be not just to benefit them, but they're also working to benefit other people as well here. Like they're thinking, how will their goals benefit their family later on and benefit, um, like how will it help them get a house and get and establish a family. These are the goals that they're thinking. So this is a bit more longer term, and these are goals that will help them in the middle and the prime of life here. So these are the goals that they're thinking. And then Venus and Sagittarius, these are very long-term goals. Here they're thinking about what happens in their later age as well. What happens as they become more mature? They're going to think about doing the religious ceremonies and all of these so that um, they could get the best type of afterlife, so that they could reach God in heaven, right? So these are goals that are more long-term based. And actually, Venus and Sagittarius here, they never make decisions based on getting like the quick wins or like getting these small short-term goals. They're always going to think, how is this going to carry them out for the next 40, 50 years? Right? So that's how these guys are thinking. So another thing you'll see with this is that these people are very determined and very these people tend to work very hard because they have energy. These are all energetic signs. So these people have a lot of energy to do a lot of things. They don't tend to be lazy people, um, especially in Aries. Venus and Aries, like, don't count on it. They're not going to be lazy whatsoever. They're going to be up and at 'em and working very hard. Right? So these signs, they're going to be a lot more active. You'll see these people in terms of their appearance, they're going to be, they're not going to be super skinny, nor are they going to be like very big or weigh a lot. These are going to be like the in-between weight, where they don't they don't gain weight easily and they don't get skinny easily either. So these are the people who actually have a very fast metabolism as well. So when they eat food, they burn it off very quickly. And these are the people who, like, you could think about these guys right now. These are the people who, when they eat food, they could eat so much, like uh, 3 meals in a row, like 3 plates of food in a row. And people say, "How are you not full?" And they'll eat it, and then like 30 minutes later, you'll see they're still outside. They'll go outside and like do some activity, go repair something, or they're up and moving again. So they metabolize food extremely quickly. And so the fire element in their body is very strong. These people also tend to not get sick that often. They have an incredible immunity system. So immune system, they don't get sick easily. And when they do get sick, generally they're able to get better pretty quickly and easily. So yeah, extremely strong immune system. Um, so yeah, that's what you'll see when Venus is in fire signs. Um, now let's see. Let's see when Venus is placed in earthy signs, 2, 6, and 10. Here, you'll see that your spouse, the key word for these earthy signs is that they're extremely practical in nature. These are the people who are always thinking about how things are going to get done and in the practical way. So even if you give them an idea, let's say you're going to start a business, you may have the idea in your head, but you see what these people will respond with is, how are you going to accomplish this goal? Right? So fire signs, they had the goal in their minds, and here the earthy signs is, how are you going to accomplish this goal now? Right? So you'll see this is why these earth signs are all about resources, especially Taurus. It's about resources. So these are the resources that will help you accomplish these goals here. Right? So these people always ask, how will you get this thing accomplished? When will it be done? And what will you need to get it done? These are all practical questions. Will you need a website? Will you need money? Will you need people? Will you need connections? Will you need um, a website? You see, they're always thinking about this. Even then, they'd go even a step further. Okay, you need a website. Are we going to pay someone in to do it yourself? What's the pricing going to be like if it's paid? If it's how are we going to set this system up so we get your store? What should the pricing be? You see, so they think about every practical detail about everything. And now imagine they're doing this with every decision they make. Imagine when they buy the house. Your first house that you get, they're going to ask all these questions. How much money should we be saving to be able to pay off the mortgage every month? Can we even afford this mortgage? Will this neighborhood be a great place? Will this be a reliable place to be able to get to, like a realistic place to live, to commute to work and get back, right? So they're always thinking about these practical things, right? And this it's not a bad thing at all. These people are very much needed in the world because you always need that person to ask you, how is it going to get done? And ask you that how question, right? So extremely practical, and they're very much focused on the earthly matters in this world, like the materialistic side of the world. And again, this is not a bad thing because we live in a materialistic world. We live on this earth here, which is filled with materialistic things, and we have to get by every day. And so these people know how to get by every day extremely well, right? Because that's the earthy element that's part in our everyday life, is surviving and getting through the day. So these people are extremely skilled at that. You see, another thing is not only are they just practical, they're extremely helpful as well. These people are extremely helpful and hardworking. And they work hard so that they could sustain whatever they're doing. That's the earth element in them. If they bought a house or if they bought a car, they're working hard so that they could sustain these things and keep these things, keep holding on to it. Right? So another thing with this, just like actual earth outside, it's extremely reliable. Right? None of the other elements are like this. Air is always moving. You can't depend on air because the moment you take your eye off of it, the air just flies away. Same thing even with water. Water flows and will move away from you. It's unpredictable. The even fire doesn't stay still, right? Earth is the only thing that is stable, and these people are extremely reliable and stable. Their mental state is extremely stable, and these people are extremely dependable for anything. They're so dependable that anything goes wrong, these people will be there immediately to help you. If you need like a loan just out of nowhere, these people will be there and be like, okay, how much do you need? You know, $20,000. You're my best friend here. I'll do it for you. Right? So extremely reliable people. And I would honestly, this is like a blessing here because you need these people in your life. And everybody has an earthy element in you that has to deal with this materialistic world. And just having a spouse here who is more dominantly earth material kind of makes taking care of these earthly matters a lot easier. So that's what's really great about it. These people manage money extremely well. And they are extremely focused on earning money here. That's a very, very big part of their life is how are they earning money and how are they using this money to sustain themselves? So yeah, that's Venus and Earth signs. Now Venus in air signs. Now personally, I really like Venus in these air signs. Uh, so you'll see when Venus is in these air signs, Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius, your spouse is extremely outgoing and very social. And this is true for all three of them. They're very social people. They have to talk to people. And part of the reason for this is because all the jobs that are actually connected with 3, 7, and 11 are all jobs that involve interacting with other people. Like these are all business houses. And no matter what business, if you're in a business, you're forced to interact with somebody, whether it be, suppliers or customers, whoever, you have to talk to people. So these are all signs where these people have to interact with other people, right? So your spouse is actually very good at it. They're good at talking and socializing, and um, they're very talkative, actually. So they're very good at making a conversation. These are people who can make conversations go on for hours. Like these are not like dull people to talk to. They can make a conversation out of anything. So that's what's really good here. So yeah, extremely social. Another thing is that these people are also very creative and they're very innovative. Creative and innovative comes here because you see, air signs are the ones that always come up with uh with new ideas and new ways of doing things. That's why they're also good for business, because business is all about coming up with a new idea, a new product, right? So these people are extremely innovative and very clever with their mind. They're very good at thinking outside of the box and thinking in ways that other people don't think, right? So they have a very unique thought process and very unique thoughts come to them. You'll see with these people, in terms of their appearance, they'll be very skinny. These are people who, like, it's not that they even have a lean body, but that they're like very skinny. These people are very skinny, and well, most unless like Jupiter is conjunct with one of them, with your Venus here, then most likely this person will be very skinny in nature, and um, the other thing, these people will tend to get sick pretty easily. Like these people are always getting, especially during flu season, during like the season, like during the parts when like the seasons are changing, these people are very vulnerable to the change in seasons. And so getting sick happens for them quite often. And they even when they do get sick, they stay sick for quite a while. So their immune system isn't that great. Um, but uh, sickness tends to come very easily to them, and d depending on any other planets that are with them, the sickness also tends to go. Like if a fiery planet is with them, the sickness tends to go very quickly. So yeah. You'll see that these people also like to eat very specific types of food. The food that they would eat would be like very airy in nature. So think about things like popcorn. You see, like popcorn is it's just like a very thin thing and it has a lot of air inside. Things like that, or Rice Krispies. Even those like Rice Krispie like cake things, I think they're just like rice cakes. They're not cooked, they're like dry. Um, and so when you bite into it, they're very like airy inside. So these people tend to like these type of food. Even like chips. These like not potato chips, but corn chips, because these corn chips also have air inside. Right? So these type of foods, these people tend to really like these. Another thing, these people are also very curious people. They like to try a lot of new things. They like to try lots of food. They like to try a lot of different activities. If you ask them, "Oh, do you want to play like racquetball?" If they've never heard of it, they'd be like, "Oh yeah, sure. Let's give it a try." So they're very curious with trying out new things, right? These people are also people who are not like they don't always plan things. Sometimes they just kind of go with the flow with how things arrive. Earth signs, these are people who plan things, but not these people. These people kind of, if you ask them what's their plan in life, they'll say something, and then later on, like maybe a couple months later, you ask them again, and they said, "Oh yeah, now." They would say they're no longer interested in being a police officer. They're now interested in being a theoretical physicist, right? So these people, they change a lot, and their ideas change a lot here. Just because wind, right? These are all air signs, and air moves very quickly, right? So their ideas are moving, and their ideas of who they want to be changes very quickly and easily. So yeah, that's Venus in air signs. Let's see. So last one, 4, 8, and 12. Now, these are my favorite placements of Venus. Now, I think Venus does particularly well in Earth signs. Uh, Venus does well in Earth signs, does better in air signs, and in my opinion, I really like how Venus performs in water signs. So you see here with Venus and water signs, one thing you'll see immediately with your spells is they're extremely emotional. These people, they're especially Venus in Cancer. These people, their emotions are kind of all over the place. They, you know, one point like they wake up in a bad mood, then you give them breakfast, then they feel better, but then they stub their toe later on, and then they're upset again, and then you give them a band-aid and kiss them on the forehead, and then they feel better again, and then so like it's always a roller coaster with them, and this is true with Venus and all three of these signs here, that their emotion kind of goes all over the place. And actually, Venus and Scorpio, this one's a little different because this one, again, the emotions are kind of all over the place, but you'll see with them that they tend to not talk about their emotions. You see, Venus and Cancer is very vocal about how they feel and their emotions, but Venus and Scorpio does not really talk about their feelings. They tend to store their emotions and bottle it up. So these are the type of people who, when they get mad, they won't even tell you why they're mad. So unless you really like start poking at them and really start asking why, but they tend to hide their emotions a lot. Now, something that's kind of nice with Venus and all three of these signs is that they're extremely creative, very creative, and in different ways, I would say. I think Venus and Pisces is probably one of my favorite combinations. And, not just because it's exalted, but the way Venus behaves in Pisces is that Venus is very artistic, and the artistic side of Venus really comes out here. It comes out in Pisces and in Gemini. But here it really comes out a lot. And the artistic skills like painting and music, dancing, all of this comes out with Venus in this Pisces sign here. So here Venus is extremely soft. So your spouse in these water signs, your spouse will be very soft in nature. They are not argumentative. They do not cause problems often. And like they don't raise their voice. That's not in their nature to do that. You know, when there's an issue, Venus and Cancer just kind of starts crying. Venus and Scorpio, if there's a problem in your relationship, they'll just bottle up their emotions. But Venus and Pisces, they'll actually talk about how they feel. They'll be honest about it and say um, like they'll actually talk about their feelings here, right? So that's how they are. And in different well, one thing you'll see with their appearance, Venus and water signs, they may be a little bit more bigger in nature. Like it's the water signs that give you a lot more like fat on your body. Like you know how like bodybuilders and people who exercise, they know about like water weight. Like this is the water weight here. Venus and these water signs. So it's the water signs that it gives people a lot more weight to them. So here they may have a bigger appearance, but this is only true if no fiery planets are with them. So like if Sun is conjunct with any one of these, then they're not going to be too big in nature because the Sun will burn that weight down and make you burn some of that fat. So yeah. Uh, these people also they like to have a lot of uh like food that has a lot of water content. So things like rice is a perfect example because rice is literally cooked or made in water fields, right? There's a lot of water in rice fields. And I've also noticed this, they like a lot of milky products. This is especially true of Venus and Cancer. So things that have a lot more water content in their food they like to eat. Like things like what's that one thing? Lettuce? I think it was lettuce that has a lot of water content. Things like watermelon, high water content in the food. Watermelon, what did I just say? Lettuce, cucumber, these things that have like a lot of water is these people love it because they love to be hydrated through their food. So very rarely are they going to eat dry food, things like Rice Krispies or like popcorn. That's not their preferred type of food. They also tend to eat like good quality food. That's what I've noticed here, that they like good tasting food. And this is also part of the reason why they tend to gain a bit more weight. Uh, their body is also a bit more susceptible because you see, to burn fat, you need fire. And so these people, they don't lose weight very easily with this. Again, unless a fiery planet is somehow associated, either aspecting or conjunct. Um, so yeah, these people, that in terms of their immunity, they, you see, uh, the signs that are most immune to disease as fire signs. And then somewhere in, and probably the least, like the most susceptible to sickness is probably air signs. So, air signs and earth signs are very susceptible. So, like water is the kind of in between here where they get sick just sometimes. They don't get sick so often, and they're not also fully immune either. So they're somewhere in between here. Uh, some flu seasons they might get sick, some they won't. Right? So that's how they behave here. And yeah, you'll see that just I just want to say a bit more about their personality. That um, these people, the way that they make decisions is all based on their emotion. They're not going to think logically about how it is. Like, for example, if you're hiring this person for work, like if they're going for a job interview, they're not going to say yes or no based on the facts. Like, they're not going to say, like, oh, yeah, I'm going to do this job because it pays a lot of money, or that it's would look really great on your resume, or that it's great experience. They're not going to say any of this. They're going to choose their job or choose anything in life based on how they feel about it. So they'll choose their job because how they felt with the person that they're interviewing with. Or they're going to stay at the job based on how their coworkers treat them. Do they really enjoy being there? And if they feel any unhappiness, they're going to leave this place right away. So they choose it based on how they feel. And they do this with everything in life. If you buy furniture for your house, they're going to organize it based on how they feel about it, not really about facts. Like they're not going to think about it logically, like oh, this is the best place to put a couch so that you could watch TV at the best angle. They're going to choose a placement for the couch based on emotionally how it makes them feel. So through emotions they're going to choose all types of things like this. So yeah, uh this was Venus in all four signs. And if you have any comments or would like to know more, you can leave a comment down below. And please make sure to leave a like and subscribe and check out the consultation down below. Check out the link for consultations. Again, currently we have this Diwali sale only for a limited time. So check this out if you would like a consultation. And yeah, thank you.